So it's widely believed that Sir Jim Ratcliffe will take over 25% of the club on this Thursday when Manchester United's board votes to ratify, his 1.3 billion pound purchase of a quarter of Manchester United. But, what are the different outcomes and different possibilities in the immediate future with Sir Jim Ratcliffe taking over? So I think there's three possible outcomes. There could be more, but I think these are the three most likely. The first possible outcome is, I think, the best case scenario. So the first one is that this is the one they've been pushing in the media a lot. He's able to take full control of the sporting side, but, questions still remain with the infrastructure of the club. Now, in this scenario, Jim Ratcliffe comes in, he puts in his, sporting people in place. He has, people at Ineos who are in charge of the sporting division, and they oversee the sports side of his cycling team, the racing team, and Nice. And I guess there's a Swiss club that he owns as well. But there's, I think, someone who's at the head of that umbrella. And then they can bring in someone like Paul Mitchell or Michael Edwards to be the new director of football of Manchester United. In that scenario, yes, at least the club does have someone with a football background, at the head of the football decisions, and they could potentially build a structure at the club that's sustainable for future success for the team, right? But at the same time, there's still questions about things that the Sheikh Jassim bid would have, taken care of. That is, stadium, building, restructuring, renovating, whatever. They pledged to invest in the stadium as well as the surrounding area. The training ground, the youth team, the women's team, are those things that Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos are still going to spend money on to improve, or are they going to have the cash to do that because they're going to be focused on, a full purchase in the next 3 years, 5 years, whatever the plan is, right? That's the best case scenario. But at least, we'd have a football, structure in place, and maybe that can eliminate some of the, chaos that has surrounded this team for the last 10 years. Number two, this is probably the, medium case scenario. He's not able to take full control of the sporting side, or he is, a figurehead as full control of the sporting side. But the Glazers maintain their majority stake, so they still control the purse strings of the club. And this one, he's more of an investor with a voice, right? And instead of being someone who's actually in control of a specific part of the club, which, is something that it would make sense for him to want that, but you never know. Maybe he isn't allowed to go in there and do everything he wants. Maybe they give him full control, but they can still veto most decisions because they control the purse strings, like I said. They're still in charge of the money because they have the majority stakeholder shares, or the majority of the voting shares, right? I don't think this is that out of the realm of possibility, and I wouldn't put anything past the Glazers when it came to this, because, that 1.3 billion he's investing, it's not necessarily a cash injection for the club. Maybe a percentage of it will be used for that. We've yet to find that out. But there's a possibility that cash just goes to the Glazers and the investors, and we're in the same position that we were before. And then, is there a difference in valuation where we're able to change our credit, because we're able to, get more credit because our valuations change, but I'm not sure that's going to affect financial fair play anyway. And then the third and worst case scenario is, this media PR frenzy about Sir Jim getting sporting control has all been kind of spin, and it's not the case, right? Nothing changes. Nothing changes from the structure point of view. Richard Arnold and John Murtaugh are still there. This investment is strictly a cash injection for the Glazers and the shareholders, and we continue on business as usual. And the Glazers, who haven't been able to take out a dividend for probably 2 years, I don't think they took out one in 23 and 23, and they definitely didn't take one out in 2022. The Glazers are able to get this huge one-time, cash injection of whatever it's going to be, $500 million, 600 million, whatever. They get that all at once. And then again, we move forward as usual as, Jim Ratcliffe, scrouges up enough money to buy as much of United as he can moving forward, at the pace that the Glazers deem appropriate. So these are the three scenarios I think are possible if Sir Jim takes over. Let me know which one you think is the most likely. For me, I'm hoping it's one, but I think it's going to be more towards two, where he is in charge, but he can't really do what he wants because the Glazers still have majority of control. All right, get your say in below in the comments.